All right, so back where we left off, the tools for Animate CC. We'll talk about some of these. You have your selection tool. You can click over something and select it, or you can select directly on the object. This is your subselection tool, which means certain objects that you create, you can select, and then you can then warp and adjust those certain anchor points that will show up. This is a transform control tool or free transform tool. And once you select an object with this tool, you can then distort, you can shrink it, expand it, do what you want. 3D rotation tool we'll get into later. This is another type of selection tool right here is a lasso tool. You can select more around kind of an organic shape if you wanted to and use that to select an object. Pen tool is pretty much like any pen tool that we have in Adobe software. You can use this to create different shapes or lines. I have text tool, and with the text tool you can create your text box. You can type away, and with your text tool you have your different font families. You can have different settings on how to adjust that, even your color. Size, you can type in a number, or you can scrub this from side to side for different settings for that. Line tool. With the line tool, you're creating a stroke, which means there's no fill to it, which means you can only adjust the thickness of your tool, of this line. And you're not really left with much in the way of options for what you can do with that. You can select your colors here and create different lines depending on what you're using. If you're using a tablet, you can adjust your thickness by controlling your stroke over here with the wheel on your tablet, so you can adjust it quickly that way. Other ways to do that is hitting the right and left brackets on your keyboard would also work. You have your rectangle tool. And you notice what happens when you draw out a shape with the rectangle tool. It will have both a stroke and a fill, and you can go and you can select your rectangle tool. You notice I select it once, and only the fill is going to appear to be selected. So that means I can alter just that middle section. So if I do that, I can select out here, and it's only going to select one part of my stroke. So I can go around and start to select all parts of that stroke and take that and adjust it as I need to. This happens because that object is overlapping another stroke. So do that. Wanted to move this object, if I just select it once, see what happens, and it's only going to select that. Put that back. I tap it twice or double click that, I can move the whole thing. If I'm using my selection tool and select just a square around my object, that is another way I can shift that around. Subselection tool, as it applies to this, once I select my stroke here, I can then take this and warp it, and you see what happens. It starts to add more points in which I can alter this. So my rectangle now has become, a pentagon, some sort of polygon. So different ways that you can adjust that. Your free transform tool will apply to other objects. So I can take this and I can then stretch this out. I can rotate it. I can do the same thing to this. Double clicked it so that I have the whole thing selected. Otherwise, if I only wanted to select one part, fill, and rotate that, I could do that. Lasso tool. If I wanted to select only a certain thing, I can lasso it. And sometimes objects are difficult to select with this. It might be kind of not so easy to select something that is in an odd place. So this kind of makes it a little bit easier. Might be something handy to select with. Let's see. I have my oval tool, and with that, create an oval. If I hold shift, it will create a perfect circle, and I can alter and change things there. I can also change the look of the outside of my circle or oval. So it has kind of a different line width there. I have a Polystar Tool. With the Polystar Tool, let's change up some colors here, add some variation. Say I'll make a shape like this. Let's see, how about I make a smaller shape there. With this, I can, and my Polystar tool selected, I have somewhere in here options. Oops, I'm selected here, so let me click off on that. Let's go, there we go. Got my Polystar tool, and I should have, where'd it go? Normal. Well, where did my options go? Ah, there we go. So now I have my options popping up. For some reason, I couldn't find them. But it is a Polystar tool, which means I can change it from a polygon to a star tool. All I have to do is go over here, and once I have that selected, I can choose my options. I can also change how many sides I want for that. So instead of a polygon, say I wanted like a 20-sided star. Click OK on that, and I can create my star. Stroke is kind of large on that, so let's adjust. Bulky looking. There we go. So have a different shape happening now. Pencil tool. Pencil tool is kind of handy. Let me get rid of some of this stuff here. I'm just Control-Z out of all this, going back. Pencil tool wants to automatically help you and straighten out some of your shapes. So I have shapes here that are circle. If I try to do a square, it's going to try to help me out. Your pencil tool is also only functioning in a stroke. There's no fill to a pencil. Same thing with a paintbrush tool. Although it doesn't try to help you out as much, it's going to try to let you freehand as much as you want, but it's still just a stroke. No fill to it. You can adjust your stroke and everything here. The brush tool will smooth out some things a little bit, but it's only going to be a fill. Certain things, such as bone tool, will only affect things that are a fill. So this one is more of a freehand, somewhere in between. It'll kind of smooth out things for you, but it's going to let you freehand, and it's not going to make all your shapes like perfect. Bone tool can be kind of interesting. Let's see here. Go back and if I can make some space here. Bone tool, you can animate certain characters, body parts, so on. Your paint bucket tool will only paint areas that are closed, such as that. So this is a closed area. It will not just paint kind of randomly all over like you could in Photoshop. Closed areas only. This one is an ink bottle tool, which means you can change things that are strokes. So this is your eyedropper tool, which if I wanted to be specific about a color, I can select that color. Say I want this color again, and it will select it for me here. And then it also selects my paint bucket, so I can then go through and paint something else that same color. Eraser tool, there's different modes for the eraser. You can tell it what to erase and what not to erase. You can erase something in there. Erase parts of this. Now, certain things that are like this, like a stroke, it still wants to try to finish out the line for you. So if I go through and try to erase a bunch of that, it's going to let me erase it, but it's going to still try to make it look like a line. And I can also change the size. I go through different sizes of erasers, and it will continue to get smaller. Width tool, you can apply and you can make certain lines and objects wider and warp them and give them all sorts of funky shapes. Hand tool is more for panning, so if I were zoomed in, let me zoom in a little bit, I can pan with that hand tool. It'll also let me rotate if I wanted to. Zoom, if I want to get really close into something, I can do that. Zoom back out or window. So I also have these handy guys right here. Switch them back and forth. Those are the basic tools, and I think that's all for now.